Welcome SAO survivors, and this week in SAO we have Sword Online Progressive Scherzo Deep Night movie coming to the UK on February 1st, Australia and New Zealand on February 2nd, and the United States and Canada on February 3rd. Now, while you are getting the movie, based on my experience from the Argo movie release in your regions, please do check in with your local cinemas to see if they are actually bringing the movie, because most of you last time around went ahead there at last second and realized, hey, my local cinema is not showing the movie. So I'll give you a little secret here. The distributors usually don't have the most amount of power when it comes to something more of a niche content like anime stuff. So what you need to do is you actually go to your local cinemas, ask them about the movie, actually request them to bring the movie. You need to show them the demand, because at the end of the day it's the theaters, it's the cinemas that purchase the movie from the distributors in general. So show them the demand and hope they bring it to you, and don't wait until the last second. That's the best thing you can do if you actually do want to get to watch the movie. But moving on from those Western release dates of the Scherzo movie back to Japan, Week 10 cinema bonuses have been announced. There are two illustrations of Asuna referring to a moment in the movie. The moviegoers in Japan are going to be getting one of these at random. So one of them has the Scherzo attire of Asuna, the other one has the KOB one. If you want both of them, you will likely need to go twice and pray to RNGesus that you get the right ones as random. Moving on from the anime over to the manga side of things, Dengeki Daio's monthly release has arrived with RE Aincrad and Sister's Prayer new chapters. Now, Sister's Prayer is going faithfully alright, but the RE Aincrad, last time around they had finished Ariowa Starless Night adaptation, and as we have expected, it jumps over the entire progressive series in general. Again, this was expected because, progressive manga already exists. Progressive mangas, way too many different releases. The fate of Canon of the Golden Rule is still out there in the open, but again, that was not the topic of RE Aincrad, and there are no other side stories along the way to cover. So the story has jumped straight into Red-Nosed Reindeer episode, a side story, the Sachi episode, as most of you will recognize. However, what will define RE Aincrad in the future, in my opinion, is what they will do after the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because that manga still has a bit of a differentiation problem, it's just doing what the anime did, with the exception of covering Ariowa Starless Night in great detail. But when it was initially advertised, it was advertised as covering stories that were also never covered by the anime, and so far the only one that actually delivered on that promise was a quick, brief adaptation of the First Day side story. Again, nothing too much to blame on RE Aincrad, because there are no other side stories that were not adapted by the anime up until this point. But after Red-Nosed Reindeer, we are getting some side stories that it will have a chance to pivot into, and hopefully it will. It's still a shame they didn't cover the Whiskers little intermission though. Anyways, I spoke way too much on that one, so we're moving on. Birthday fan art campaign for Koharu's birthday. She is the beloved partner of our protagonist in Sword Online Integral Factor, and her birthday is on February 23rd. So the birthday fan art campaign has started. You need to use the hashtag. I'm gonna copy it over down in the description along with a link to the tweet. But you use that hashtag to post your fan art for the birthday, and you will get a chance to be featured on the Beaters Cafe birthday page for Koharu. So if you're participating, good luck. Did you ever want to know what Kirito tastes like? Well, now you can! Manhattan Roll Ice Cream is having a collaboration with Sword Online in Japan on the topic of Scherzo of Deep Night, so they have special ice cream planned out with the tastes of, themed around Kirito, Asuna, Argo, and Mito, as well as having lots of goodies and merch based on those characters. The collab will take place between January 13 and January 29. You can see the merch over here. You can pause the screen if you want to check them individually. Link is gonna be in the description as well. Now, moving over to the game news. Sword Online Last Recollection. Don't get too excited. We have the introduction card for Klein and Agil, along with Selka, Düsselbert and Eldrie, who are carrying over from Illustration Licorice anyway, so I'm not gonna focus on those. There is not much to focus, like Klein and Agil in their ALO attires coming over for the War of Underworld portion of our SAO Gameverse. Expect these kinds of little breadcrumbs sprinkled around for Last Recollection for a while. The game is coming out sometime in 2023, and well, we don't have any major gaming expos in the near future where you can expect some large-scale news, so breadcrumbs it is. Can never complain about some Klein and Agil though. Variant Showdown. The interest is declining relatively constantly in these early periods. I will probably have a video about that sometime. I'm planning this week, but we'll see. What I want to say is they are continuing to shadow drop new portions of the main campaign. They did 2 more in the past 2 weeks with a single part. So again, do check the main story portion of the game relatively regularly to see if they shadow dropped anything new. We have now caught up to the flashback we had as prologue and moved 1 step further, but there's still not much story going on. Like, at least drop 2 parts at a time. This is way too slow. But going into the actual contents, we had the competition between Team Asuna and Team Alice in the game with the event portion. Team Asuna has obviously won. With that, everyone who participated, including the Alice team, have received Asuna unit as a reward. And we simply don't know what's gonna happen with the Alice unit that they had. Maybe she's gonna be used for the next Christmas, pitted against someone else, or maybe we'll get it somewhere down the line for free. Who knows? Currently it's up in the air for those Alice fans. We have a new Kirito and Eugeo banner, quite the cute illustration. Both ability cards, the illustrations on them are matching to make a bigger picture, but you can just check your favorite data miners to see the full picture yourself without having to actually collect the cards. There is a new limited battle event going on. It's a new type of event where the gameplay is literally the same. The twist on the event is that you're basically picking certain debuffs to apply to your team to gain higher scores and then exchange the points you have received for exchange rewards in the shop tab. I actually like this event because it didn't require spamming the exact same thing over and over. You can just get all the debuffs, go ahead and defeat the boss or enemies and collect your rewards. You don't need to do it 20 times every single day, even when you don't have skip tickets. So I appreciate this type of event, the quests, much more than the Alice vs Asuna event that we had, where we weren't even allowed to use skip tickets. Like, come on, man. New mini manga panel has been shared on the official Sword Online Variant Showdown account featuring Lifa. And we have a new SAOVS hash flag. If you use hashtag SAOVS, that stands for Variant Showdown, you'll get a nice little VS logo at the end of it. This is running, and I'm gonna check now, until March 18. So if you're a Variant Showdown player and want to share your abilities, characters, or even runs, you know, use that hashtag. Hash flags are nice, they're cool, I think. That's what people keep telling me. Last but not least, the Integral Factor, and I'm gonna skip a whole bunch of stuff because Integral Factor always has too much fluff events going on. Not using as a negative term, it's just things I did earlier or things I am not particularly interested in, like hunt events and stuff. We're covering the past 2 weeks, so I don't have the time to get into every single one of them individually. So what we have new is Christmas 2022 event featuring a lovely Koharu illustration and a nice little story. I recommend you go check it out and play, or worst case scenario, you know, I have it uploaded on my channel, you can watch that as well. The soundtrack for Sword Online Integral Factor has been uploaded to Sword Online Beaters Cafe YouTube channel. It's not a full soundtrack, but it is quite a comprehensive selection. The soundtracks go up until the floor 100, the ending of it actually, Magna, whatever the duo was called at the end of it. even their theme is included. So if you are a fan of Integral Factor soundtrack like I am, I strongly do recommend you go check it out. Link is always going to be in the description like everything else, along with the like button. Please don't forget to like. I should have mentioned this earlier in the video because YouTube hates me for never encouraging you to like. Speaking of floor 100, those of you who have cleared floor 100 in Integral Factor, your names have been memorialized on a monument of swordsman of some sort on the Integral Factor website. Link is going to be in the description, but I do recommend you check it through your desktop PC where you can actually do Control F and then search for your name. If you go check it out on your mobile, you're just gonna have to scroll the entire thing and search manual, which is not very convenient, I will say that much. And as I said at the beginning, there are a whole lot of rewards, events, event reruns, banners, old and new selections, and all that kind of stuff. But go ahead and check your notice board for that, please. I am not covering the entire past 2 weeks with all those details. But thank you very much for watching. This is the end of This Week in SAO for this week. Don't forget to like. If you have questions, do comment. Subscribe for more Sword Art Online news every single week, as well as other content based on Sword Art Online and sometimes not Sword Art Online. Who knows? Barely any of you watch non-Sword Art Online content, so that is kind of up to you. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, stay cool.